Today's video is solely for informational and educational purposes. I do not recommend that you try any of these methods at home. Well, okay, I recommend one of these methods, but for the rest of them, we're just gonna talk about it just for informational purposes. If you're interested, stick around. I want to talk about the elephant in the room or bathroom. I'm talking about my Lota. What's a Lota, you might ask? Well, we'll get to that. But first, I want to talk about some other things. Before shooting this video, I went on a quick search of Western bathroom practices. I saw some videos on YouTube. I read some articles. Full disclaimer, I haven't actually done any serious research on the topic, but I did read one article and a blog post that I found very beneficial, and I thought I would share what I learned. So the first article is an article done by BBC that's called The Peculiar Bathroom Habits of Westerners, or Peculiar Bathroom Rituals of Westerners. I don't know, I'll just link it down below. The second is a blog post by a company known as Dude Products that markets baby wipes for dudes. And this is what I've learned. I got my little note sheet over here, so I'm just going to read off of it or sort of glance at it because I want to make sure that the information is as accurate as possible. So this is what I've learned. In the Stone Ages, as the name suggests, people actually used to clean themselves after defecating with, you guessed it, stones. I'm not really sure how that worked out for them or anything, or how well that prohibited the spread of an infection, but you know, it is what it is, and when in the Stone Ages, you make do with what you have. Apparently in ancient Greek time, they haven't really evolved as much as we would want to think. The ancient Greeks are credited with being highly educated, you know, very much aware of philosophy and things like that, but they didn't quite hit the mark when it came to bathroom hygiene. The ancient Greeks used, you guessed it, stone and pieces of ceramic pots and things like that to clean their rear ends. Sometimes you would find names inscribed on the back of them. I'm guessing this is where the idea of having Donald Trump's face printed on toilet paper came from. The ancient Romans literally cleaned themselves with a sponge on a stick. A sponge on a stick, guys. And so what they would do is they would use bathroom, you know, clean themselves rigorously with this sponge on a stick. I know it's gross. And then they would sanitize it by dipping it in a bucket of vinegar and salt. So here's the thing, if you were rich, you were probably lucky enough to have your own sponge on a stick. But if you weren't, then you were sharing one with everybody in your house. Yeah, I'm not really sure that's the right approach. In East Asia, around like 700 to 800 AD, people were using like sticks and branches and things like that to wipe themselves back there. The Chinese are actually credited with coming up with the idea of toilet paper. That's probably because they invented paper. And so they came up with the idea of toilet paper. And I think like in the ancient times, the emperors would use cloths to wipe themselves. But as the advancement of like paper and things like that came around, it was like the next best thing. So paper was being used to wipe yourself. Then there are our colonial forefathers. They used corn cobs. I guess like after you remove the corn and eat the corn, you probably have to go to the bathroom because corn does that to some people. Then you use the bathroom and take said corn cob with you and wipe yourself, literally. Clean yourself with that. I don't know about you, but I've seen corn cobs, especially when they're dried out, as the articles suggest, and they're pretty rough to the touch. So I'm not really sure how well it worked out or how clean our forefathers were able to get with the corn cob. I only have one word: savage. I can imagine They literally rub themselves raw. I can imagine. So actually, I don't want to imagine that, but mental picture. The French actually were a little bit ahead of the game. They came out with French bidets, which were often found in like the homes of royalty. But surprisingly, bidets were actually found in the bedroom, not in the bathroom. And I guess they were used as a form of contraception. We now know that does not work. Don't try to clean yourself as a form of contraception. Not gonna work. But basically what they would do, what a bidet was, it was like a bowl filled with water, and you would sit on it. The water's there, and you basically soak your nether area in there and use your hands and clean it up. Seems like a pretty good way to clean yourself, you know, because water is cleaner than dry products. My only problem is with the stagnant water that's sitting in there. Like, you literally just soaked the water with your poop, and then you're taking said water and you're cleaning yourself with it. Can somebody say UTI? Toilet paper, as we now know, as that white roll that you either like to have the flap over or flap under, did not come about until about 1857. Prior to that, people were using things like the Sears catalog to clean up, or the Farmer's Almanac. And apparently the Farmer's Almanac people printed this almanac on a booklet or magazine. I'm not really sure what it looks like. I've never actually seen one. And even if I did, I probably would not touch it, even with like a long pole, considering people used to wipe their butts with it and take it with them to the bathroom. But the Farmer's Almanac used to have a hole punched in the top left corner that allowed people to hang it in the bathroom so they can get their read on and then get their wipe on. Pretty revolutionary, if you ask me. So toilet paper came about in around 1857. A guy by the name of Joseph Gayetti introduced it as hemp sheets. So they were thin pieces of paper, I guess you can say, or thin sheets of toilet paper that were made of hemp and were laced with aloe. And he marketed them to be something that prevented hemorrhoids from occurring. But it didn't really catch on because Americans were like super shy to go to the grocery store and pick up something used for their tushies. In 1890, the Scott's brothers actually designed what we actually know as the toilet paper roll. And so we have toilet paper. But that is not what this video is about. This video is about the elephant in my bathroom, my Lota. I will be right back. Let me go grab that for you. Hold on. Thank you for your patience, and while you're waiting for me to get that Lota, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So as I said, this video is about my Lota. But before we get into the Lota, we have to discuss history, because that's what we've basically been doing for the rest of the video, talking about the history of bathroom hygiene rituals. And so I want to point out that in the year, or in 610 AD, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which translates into peace and blessings be upon him, brought to the Arabian Peninsula the religion of Islam. The followers of the religion of Islam are Muslims. Muslims pray 5 times a day. However, one main requirement for performing these 5 daily prayers is ritualistic purity. What this means is Muslims have to be free of impurities known as najis, which can be equated to urine, stool, other bodily fluids, other people's bodily fluids, and the like. And so this requires a type of washing. So when we use the bathroom, of course, we're passing urine or stool. And so Islam teaches us to clean that urine or stool with first water, if water is available. Now, the religion does take into account that there are very many parts of the world in which water is a scarcity. In those instances, you may use clay or dirt or in things like that to cleanse yourself. However, in the modern world, in countries like America, Europe, and most of the first world, water is readily available. And so that is where my Lota comes into play. Let me show you my Lota real quick. This is a Lota. A Lota basically is just a watering can. It's pretty simple. It's plastic. Some of them come fancier. You can get like nice gold, nice brass ones, but we're a simple household. We simply go for the plastic watering can. You can get this at Walmart. You can get it at Home Depot, Target. I bought this guy on Amazon, and I will link this product down below. You can pick one up for yourself. I think it was like $8 or something like that. And so basically what we do is we fill it up with water, set it down next to the toilet, do our business, and then wash up clean. Yes, we use our hands. And so this is like the biggest thing like a lot of people have issues with when I mention to them about my bathroom habits. You're like, ew, you mean you touch your poop? And I'm like, bro, what do you think you're touching when you clean your butt in the shower if you're simply wiping with toilet paper? I mean, that's assuming you're cleaning your butt, and I hope you are. Other times they're like, oh, well, why don't you just use toilet paper? Because, dude, do you clean your baby's diarrhea diaper with dry paper towels? No, you use wet wipes. Now, not to say that wet wipes are the cleanest option. I mean, it is a good substitute for using water in a jug like my Lota. But my problem with wet wipes is it doesn't actually wash away impurities. It simply soaks it up and then spreads it around. So what do you do when you're, out in public and you don't have your Lota with you? What do you do? So there's a couple things. Number one, when I was school age and I would go to school, I generally try to avoid going to the bathroom at all costs. Of course, sometimes when nature calls, it's an emergency and you just gotta do what you gotta do. And in those times, what I would do is have wet wipes with me or create wet wipes with paper towels and water and use that to clean myself. And then when I got home, I would take a shower, put on some clean clothes, and then I'd be good. When we are out in public, like say for example, shopping or at a hotel or something like that, you get creative. I once bought a bottle of Gatorade, not to drink the Gatorade. I bought the bottle of Gatorade so that I could fill it up with water and use it to clean myself. I've used water bottles. I've used the cups, the paper, those paper cups that they give you for coffee. Now that's really convenient if the toilet is situated next to the tub, because then you can like refill as necessary, because that tiny little cup ain't gonna cut it. What else have I used? Plastic water bottles. You put plastic water bottles that are empty in your bag and just like fill it up before you go to the bathroom. I think that's pretty much it. So another question people always ask me is like, well, you use the bathroom, you wash yourself, and then you're like wet and you put your clothes back on. It's like, no, dude, we're not against modern technology. I mean, using toilet paper is a good thing when used properly. Clean yourself and then wipe. I mean, just don't knock it until you try it. Give it a try. Amazon, $8. Get yourself a plastic Lota. Fill it up. Wash yourself. Get yourself squeaky clean down there. And then let me know how you liked it. If you liked this video and found it entertaining and informational, go ahead and give me a like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. Bye.